Hello everybody, Yasan here back again with another YouTube tutorial. So today's tutorial I decided to come with this amazing project. This is basically on my portfolio site. So I decided to show you guys how to implement this functionality of email subscription or newsletter subscription. As you people know, like most of the websites on the internet, they have this functionality. Basically, if you wanted to collect this one, like you collect a number of emails for your supporters, and then you send for them daily updates or monthly or weekly updates, and they'll get it right away from there in mailboxes. So this project I decided to make it to come with this project and implement, show it to you guys so that you people can also learn something like this as I'm going to show you guys. And this is actually what in real world application, most of the application they're using such kind of functionality. Most of big websites they're using such kind of functionality, and I decided to make this video in order to let you know and in order for you to learn how to do something like this. So without further ado, let's get started. But before we get started, let me give you a brief overview of the technologies we are going to use. We are going to use Node.js for our backend, and then in our front end, we are going to use only the HTML and some CSS. Basically, I'm not going to show you guys the CSS part of it and even the designing process, but I'm just going to show you guys the code I've written in the HTML file, and then we start writing from the backend side from scratch, and then we're going to use Mailchimp. If you people doesn't know what Mailchimp is a email is a company that actually holds our whatever our email list, and then from there we send our we store all our emails in Mailchimp, and then from there we send updates campaign to our supporters who subscribe to our Mailchimp newsletter, or who actually signed up for the subscription. So this is what we are going to use Mailchimp. And if you didn't have an account with Mailchimp, I recommend you to go and create for you one account with Mailchimp. And then this is where you can get the API key for mail for your account. And then here we are going to use some frameworks, some libraries from NPM to facilitate the smooth running of our application. And then boom, this is what we are going to build. So this is what we are going to build, and then we are going to add the functionality. Currently, the functionality is not working, but we are going to add the functionality from scratch. So I think in dark mode like this, it will be okay. So let's get started and dive into our project. So here I have my VS Code open, and in my VS Code here, I have some bunch of files there, but I'm not gonna show you guys all the files. As I told you, this is my portfolio site, so I'm implementing a new functionality on it. So that's why I decided to make this video so that you can also get the same thing I'm going to show you guys here. So you can implement on your website, on your client's website and all those. So as you can see, I'm going to show you this one, basically the one of the main page, which is index.html. And as you can see here, I have this div, and from here, yeah, this is it. So I have this div, and this div basically it's a form, and in this form we have one input and then one button, and this one, it is this input and this button. So this is just a random message to subscribe to my whatever, my best post once a month. You subscribe, then you receive some of my posts once a month. Yeah, this is basically a message I'm giving to my end users to see. So as you can see in our input here, we have this input, and then it is an email input which takes the types of email, and then the placeholder say enter email, and then here I gave it a whatever, I gave it an ID of email, so it is required. The same applies to the button, is a type of submit, and then I gave some styling using Bootstrap, and then I gave it here the ID of some BTN submit. So there's nothing so complex here. Yeah, we are good to go. And as you can see, I have created some basic files here. And if you open the script is currently empty, and the server here is empty. So the server is where we're going to write our Node.js application, and then the script is where we're going to send our request from the front end to the back end side using powered by our Node.js application. And here I have my package.json file. And in this package, as you can see, I've installed some dependencies here. There are four dependencies, one which is the body parser and the cost, express, and then the request. This one actually I generated it basically uh, to help us hook up our our backend functionality. So that's why I imported this one. I've installed all these whatever libraries. So if you don't know how to initialize a Node.js application, the first thing you have to do is to open your terminal, and then in the terminal you first type. I have to type here npm npm init underscore y. This y is to just accept everything and all the default one. Uh, all the questions, it is just to say yes to all the question, then it will generate for you. So if I hit this one, I will get this package.json generated. So in my case, I'm not going to do this because as I've already done that one, so there's no need for me to run this command. And secondly, you have to install all those packages, all those four packages. And to install all those four packages, you say npm io npm install, and then the package's name now. Like let me say express, you type here express, and then body parser, pause, and then the last one which is request. So this is the command you have to run also to install all those four packages we have, those four dependencies we have here. So after running this, it will take some time, and then after when it is done, then from there you proceed. And as always, I'm not going to run this one because I've already run that one. So I'm good to go here. So the next thing is to show you about the scripts. Here, as you can see, we have this line for script. In line 6, I say I give the script of start, and then the script is going to start the what? The node server, which is running in this file called server.js. So I've created this file here, server.js, as it is. As you people can see, it is here. So this is what we wanted to do. You have to create this server.js and then script.js, which is for our front end, and then server.js for our back end. So after doing that, we are good to go. And then let's come here and then open our HTML part. Okay, in our HTML part, we have this ID of email and then ID of BTN submit. These are the two IDs we wanted to get, and then we play around with it. So the first thing, I'm going to open my script, and then I'm going to run this. I'm going to first get the button and then the input. So I'm going to say const. Let me zoom the screen a little bit. So I'm going to say const, and then I'm going to give it a name of btn attachment query selector. So I want to get the button, and then it has the ID of btn does submit. So this is what we want, and then the same applies to the email. I'm going to say const email, and then here I'm going to get the ID of email query selector. Then I want to select the ID of email. As always, yeah, people know, yeah, all know that getting an ID in JavaScript, you use the hash symbol to get the ID. So our ID name is email. So these are the two things we want to get currently. So wanted to add the functionality of a click and a click event on the button. Whenever we click, wanted to do something. So I'm going to say btn dot add event listener, and then the event listener is going to be a click event. So after clicking, we wanted to run this function, and this function is going to take one argument, which is e, and in this we take this. This is our function. This is an arrow function, and then before doing anything, we have to want to disable the form from auto refreshing. For us to do that, we say e.prevent default, e.prevent default. So as you can see, currently we just disable the form from refreshing. Let me open my web browser and then hit refresh here. Let's give it a moment. So if I come here and then I just enter a random email, let me try with Yason, and then I hit and click this on. As you can see, the browser is not refreshing, but if I remove this either prevent default out, I didn't specify it. If I save this file and then come back to a browser, let it first finish reloading. So whenever I come here and then I put an email address, then from there I click on this one. As you can see, our browser refreshes. So we don't want this. We don't want this one to happen, because if this one does happen, we are losing our what? We are losing our data we inputted in the input form. So it is the best way to utilize this function called prevent default. So to prevent the form from refreshing. So after that, we wanted to check the value of the email. We want to validate the input field. So to validate that one, we'll get through the email and then we check the validation of it. So I'm going to say if this dot email, which is our email at the top here, want to get its value. So if its value is equals to null, or we use the double pipe to specify an or operator, and want to check this email dot value, and then want to check if its value is empty. If this statement is true, we have to execute this line of code. So here, what we want to say? We want to say user should provide an email address. So from there, we return false. So this is the first thing we want to do. So else, okay, else. Then from there, I want to check what I want to get a data. I want to select let fetch data. Want to specify this object, and in this object we are going to take some properties, and this properties is going to be first the method, and then the method we are going to use here is going to be a post method. I have to use capital letters here. It's going to be a post method, and then after that we wanted to use the body. So the body, I'm going to say the body is going to be stringify JSON.stringify, and then we're going to take the email. That's the first thing, and then so that is it. We're taking the body, and then we're giving it the value of the email, and then we want to get the email value. So the next thing is the headers, and we're setting our headers, but here we want the headers to be a content type. There's no need for us to put this one in this new function. So I'm going to remove this one here. So it is going to be an application JSON. And then here we have to make sure we are referring to this function. Because when we didn't use this function, it doesn't know what we are doing actually. So we have to refer using this keyword. The this keyword is important for us to get the actual value. So after, if everything is successfully, wanted to fetch now the data which is coming from the endpoint. So this is where we are going to fetch our data, and then we're specifying the endpoint which is subscribe, and then we are putting the fetch data which is our variable here, So then we are giving the dot then here, dot then which is taking the response, and then if taking the response, and then the response JSON, it is going to return the response JSON here. So let me take this one off. So after taking the response JSON, but before taking the response JSON, we wanted to take this one as our inline function, and then want to check its status. We want to check the status of the response. So let me come here and then close my function. So before we go ahead with this one, I have to say response. I want to check if the response is okay. So I'm going to say if a response. If the response is okay, if the response is okay, wanted to do something here. So here is going, we are going to do something here. So currently I'm just going to console log this message, but here we can put whatever we wanted to put, or we can even redirect the user to another page. That's the first thing we want to do. And then the second one, after this, want to check the else. And then this else is going to throw for us an error if we have any error. So here is where we are going to display our error, or we are going to throw a new error here. So this is the error we are going to throw. All right, it is okay now. This one is looking good. But we have to close this one here with our parentheses like this. Okay, perfect. Our application is now taking effect, and this is all what we want from our front-end side of a thing. And then we have to go now into our backend and then implement our backend functionality. Then we come back here and then do some modification and add some stuff. So let me switch to the backend side and then we continue from coding that side. So I'm going to come to server